the element kits that we have for our heavy-duty glass line electric tank. We have these tanks in 119 gallon, 80 gallon, and 50 gallon. They have 9 ports that are on the tank. We stock these tanks with either 3 element, 6 elements in them, or 9 elements in the tanks, which is standard. And you can buy these kits to convert them. So if you have a job, if the standard units that are stocked don't meet your requirement, you can buy these element kits that have labels, conversion labels, have the elements required that you're going to need for the job. So if you have a 3 element tank in stock in whatever various gallon capacity you have, you would buy a 3 element kit, and on the kit you would see what it's rated for as far as its total kW capacity, its voltage, and whether it's single phase or 3 phase, or whether it's set up for simultaneous or non-simultaneous. And then the labels within the box will have to be attached to the heater to show that the heater has been changed from its original state. And the elements, the individual elements, are all installed in this box with gaskets and instructions on how to do how to convert the heater over. So why don't I show you what's inside the box? I'll go over that detail, and then we'll go to the tank and I'll show you basically how you're going to convert the tank over. When you get the box, when you open the box, you'll see that you have a set of instructions and some labels. The instruction manual is pretty clear. It goes through the step-by-step process of how to install it. It has specific warnings on here, which is important to read, to understand. There's certain things we want to alert you on before you install this from a safety perspective. It's always good to go through the manual, understand what those warnings and cautions are, and understand the step-by-step procedure before attempting to make the conversion. The most important thing, obviously, is to do this conversion prior to wiring or applying power to the system. So the instruction manual is pretty clear. It'll go through a step-by-step procedure of how to install the elements that are in the kit. Also within the kit, you get a rating plate. This rating plate within the kit, within the instructions, will actually show you where this rating plate will be placed over the old rating plate. So it indicates what the new wattage, voltage is, and the total amp draw of the system. So this needs to be placed based on the instructions guidelines. We also have another label that goes on the system. This label is a conversion label. It just tells you the kit that was used over here. It tells you the date that the kit was installed, so we know what date it was done and by whom. That's will go on the heater also. And then we have another box label that can be placed if this is done on a remote site where it is converted. This can go on the outside of the crate of the finished water heater to show specifically what the new capacity of that unit is. So we supply that with the kit. In the kit itself, you'll see, I'll just take some of this packing paper out to keep it from getting damaged, but in the kit you can see that we have the elements. We'll have either, like I indicated before, in a 9 element tank, we'd have 9 elements in here. On a 6, we'd have 6 elements, and on a 3 element, we would have 3 elements. The elements come packaged, all packaged and ready to go. We ship each one with another gasket, just in case when you're taking the old element, or you're taking the element out of the tank that it came with. You cut the gasket. We supply an extra one, just in case you have a problem and you need a new gasket to seal it. And so that gets used when you install it. You have your connections, so you take each one of the elements, install them, rewire them up, change your labels, pressure test, and then apply voltage, apply power to the unit, and then monitor the unit while it's heating up just to make sure that everything's operating correctly. So that's the kit. So let me show you how the elements are going to be installed in the heavy-duty glass line tanks that we have. and I'll show you how that's done. Go over the conversion of the elements. When you receive your tanks, your elements will be already installed and wired. All you're going to do is take your elements out, put the new ones in, make sure they're nice and tight, make sure that the wiring is done correctly, and the most important thing is make sure before you attempt to do this, you have no power applied to the system. Your power is definitely shut off. Make sure your breakers are off and there is no power applied to the system whatsoever. So the first thing you're going to need is your Phillips screwdriver. You're going to take the Phillips screwdriver, take the screws off of the existing elements that's there, pull them right off. You can see these loops are made to hold as you start to tighten up the new one. Then you take your socket wrench, you can move these wires out of the way, and you start to loosen up your bolts. Just loosen them here, take them each one out. This is your bracket that holds your control in. The wire should pretty much hold everything up for you in its place. Pull the element out. You might have to wiggle the element out or pry it. So I just did that. And as you can see, sometimes when you do this, you're going to tear the gasket. So that's why when you take this out, we want to make sure we give you the new gasket. I'm going to put this element, you can see the difference between the two elements. I'm going to install the new element with the new gasket. This is a twist lock fitting, which is a real nice feature of this heavy duty glass line tank. Put your element in. You position it in the same position it was before, vertically. You're going to want to put the bottom ones in first. One of the things, one nice little trick on this is because this is a twist lock, which is a nice feature because if anything ever breaks, you can easily replace it. But on the twist lock connectors, it is a little tricky to put the element in, so you have to basically support the back plate with your hands, press in the element. The element's going to want to fall down a little bit, and then get your bolt and basically try to line it up, and then slowly but surely just make sure that the threads are engaging and tighten up slowly by hand. Once you get it tightened up slowly, you want to make sure everything's aligned properly, like it is here. And then what you want to do is you want to, by hand again, make sure these clips are engaged in the clips for the thermostat so we have good contact. Put them on, you got alignment there, and do the same thing. Just wiggle it a little bit, get it aligned. You can feel it. Same thing here. Okay, and then what I would recommend is that you're going to tighten everything up nice and tight. You want to do it in a cross pattern. Diagonal for each other so they tighten up evenly. You don't want to over tighten. You want to basically get them nice and snug, because if you over tighten, you'll bend the back plate. You can put a lot of torque on this. You don't need to. We got a lot of surface here. And then you just double check to make sure your contact with your element is on there good. It's in there nice and tight. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to put your wires back that you took off. So you're going to have your element wires coming in with your Phillips screwdriver head.
Tighten it up nice and tight. Same thing you're going to do on the bottom one. And you're done. It's that simple. One thing about the element kit you need to understand is once you convert the elements over, there's really nothing you need to do. You don't need to rewire the heater. The heater's pretty much all set for you, ready to go when you're making that conversion.